Federal accident investigators are now considering launching another search of the wreckage of the sunken El Faro. It comes as the NTSB releases new video of the cargo ship, which you can see here, which left Jacksonville and lost contact while traveling near Hurricane Joaquin. Now, as we showed you at the top of the hour, we're now seeing really this newly released video of the El Faro in its final resting place. Joining me now is maritime expert and local attorney Rod Sullivan. Good morning to you, Rod. Thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it. Tell you, it's just looking at this video takes your breath away because it's 3 miles deep, deeper than the Titanic, 45 minutes. It's extremely clear. I'd like to break down some of the images, if you don't mind. Sure. First thing that hit us all in the newsroom is you can see the hull in the seabed, and it's lodged like 15 feet into the sand. What does that tell you? Well,
you can imagine the speed that the ship was falling through the water during that 15,000 feet. And the importance of this is if the hull did have a hull fracture, it would most likely be on the bottom around midships. It means it's buried 15 deep in the mud, and it's unlikely we're ever actually going to see that fracture. Now here what we're seeing is where the two top decks of the superstructure were actually ripped away from the hull. Imagine the force of that superstructure going through the water, being strong enough to actually pull 2 decks away from the superstructure and deposit it about a half a mile away.
And Rod, is that unusual to see that kind of shearing? Because we should point out that this involved the bridge as well as parts of the back of the ship, that the house as they refer to it, which is where the crew would have lived and also worked.
Yeah, well, I was surprised because the welds that weld a deck to the deck above it should be stronger than the steel itself. So the fact that it ripped away at this point indicates to me that the welds were not as strong. Now, I don't think that caused the ship to sink, but I think it does indicate that maybe when this ship was lengthened, the welding wasn't as good as it should have been.
And so do you think that shearing could have occurred then as it was going under or before it sank?
No, I don't think there's any way the wind pressure alone would have been strong enough to rip those 2 top decks off. I think that happened as it's plunging through the water to the bottom of the ocean.
And the likelihood then, in your opinion, that people were inside? Obviously the captain, trying to navigate as best he could out of this hurricane.
Well, yeah, but when we also see in some of the later photographs, as we see nylon straps tied to the railing of the ship. That indicates to me that there was actually somebody trying to get off of the ship. Those nylon straps tied to the rail to the right might be attached to a life raft. So it's possible that somebody threw the life raft over the side, tied the raft to the railing there so that it would stay close to the ship so they could try to get into the raft as the ship was sinking.
It's interesting because you also pointed out another image to us in the newsroom, and that's you spotted something in this next photo that we're going to show everyone, and you see that appears to be a ladder that's wrapped around some metal.
That's exactly what that is. That's the ship's pilot ladder. And you have to wonder whether in the last minutes as the ship is going down, people are trying to climb down that pilot ladder to get to the lifeboat or lifeboats that were launched and to get to the rafts so that they can save themselves.
How much time do you think they had? Considering the fact that they knew that they'd had mechanical problems, the propulsion system wasn't working, and they were basically drifting into the eye of a hurricane.
Well, the thing is that if all these preparations were made to escape or abandon ship, that means they had some time to think about it. They had some time to plan their escape. Now, how much time are we talking about? Well, we're still talking about a matter of minutes. But if the ship capsized, it would be very, very rapid, and you might not have the time to make these kind of preparations. The fact that you have this nylon strapping tied off to the handrails and you have the pilot ladder indicates that maybe they had more time than a capsize would have allowed them.
And very quickly, the data recorder's still not been recovered. The likelihood of finding out exactly what happened here and what sank it, what do you think?
Well, the data recorder would have had the voices on the bridge before the ship sank, and that would have been a great source of information. But even without it, there's a lot of evidence to be obtained from looking at the hull itself, and I think that somewhere or other they're going to be able to come up with a conclusion of what caused the vessel to sink.
Local maritime attorney Rod Sullivan, thank you very much this morning for joining us for your insight.
Thank you, Jen.